Hello, BookTube. Not 100% sure that I've done this correctly. I never know. But there seem to be ratings on the video, which I assume means it is public and that some of you at least can see this. I didn't give you any advance warning. I wasn't really sure that I would have a window open, and I don't have much of a window open for time. I know I always say that we have to wrap this up, but really, I felt like doing this as a live video because they go up on the channel right away. Although a literal window is open, the windows are open here. It is an absolutely beautiful day. Absolutely beautiful. Uh, okay. Book Hunts and Books is here. Okay, good. So you can see me. So I want to start off the video with a thank you and a major channel announcement. A major channel announcement. The thank you is a little thing, but I've been having such a blast with it. I didn't want to go without saying thank you. The other day, I think it might have been on a Stevestream. The idea came up of people sending me links to uh, websites and services that aggregate online book deals, ebook deals. Book Buzzard, I think, is one, or Book Buds, but there are a whole bunch of others. I got a dozen emails from people, a lot of duplication, but a lot of things that weren't duplication. One thing after another, where you go, you give them your email, and they send you. It's looking rather dramatic, isn't it? Can we stop that? Rather, there we go. They send you just blasts of daily stuff. Of here's a bunch of books that are free that are listed today. Here are a bunch of books that are $1.99 or $2.99 or whatnot. And I went to all of them. I went to all the sites that anybody sent me listings for, and I signed up for all of them. And for some odd reason, Google Chrome, which is my operating system, is sending some to my email, my primary email, and others are being shunted to promotions. So I now have to look at all of my boxes, but I have already been using the heck out of these services, and I'm sure there are more out there. So I wanted to thank you all. I don't remember who recommended what, so I wanted to thank you all for just. It's been amazing, absolutely amazing. It's wonderful to know that those things are out there. Oh my! Okay, there are people in the chat. Reading This Life is here. How wonderful! My Books News. David Wiley is here. Blue Laser Ryan. Big Al does booktube. D Temple. Randy Ray. Everybody saying hi. Isn't this nice? But uh, uh, in addition to the thank you about all of those websites, that is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Oh my! I've made so much use out of them. And a couple of times, a couple of those websites, when I would see this book is free today, I would take a look at it and think that looks good for free. I'll buy that for $1. You click through to whatever site is actually selling it. I clicked through on a couple of those to Amazon. Just click, buy this now. And a couple of times initially, though those services sent a follow-up email saying, "Did you just buy this book? And if so, why? Did you like the cover? Did you like the plot description or whatnot?" And I completely ignored those. I'm not willing to give any more data than I already have, but it's been a blast. I'm going to use those things now. I'm sure that I will download something every day, as long as I stick to my ironclad rule, which is not to pay anything. My price is zero. The only time I will pay for like an indie ebook, which is what we're talking about here, because if it's not indie, I can get it myself from the publisher. But the only time that I will pay for an indie book is if I get to the last page and want to encourage the author. I sacrifice a critical relationship there. And I've had a couple of indie authors over the years ask me not to do that. Because if I'm making myself a loyal customer of yours, I'm not going to review your books, obviously. A lot of self-published authors have been very clear to me over the years saying there is nothing harder in any part of this process than getting reviews. Nothing. So if it comes to a choice between you either buying my book or me sending you a file and getting a review, or even the chance of a review, I want a review instead. But nevertheless, that's the only circumstance in which I would do that. Oh my God, the wind is so strong it knocked the pillow down. It could be destroying my baby next. Oh, goodness gracious. We went on a beautiful afternoon walk. Oh, I should post pictures from that. We went on a beautiful afternoon walk, just the most gorgeous day. It was warm for her, but it was still it was a type of warmth where you walk for 15 minutes, you get a little warm, You stand underneath the shade of a tree for 5 minutes and you're totally cool again. And it was wonderful. I tried, as always, for years now. I've been trying to get her to appreciate the outdoors. She just doesn't. She just doesn't do it. All she does, she's walking along, and then she sees humans coming down the trail. She perks up and stands directly in the middle of the path in front of them so that they can't avoid fussing over her. And then she's just jumping up on each one of them in turn. And if one of them thinks, "Oh, I'm not really a dog person," and walks a few feet away to wait for all their friends to stop petting this little dog, she keeps count. She notices. And once she's done going to each person, she stands there, turns at the refusenik, and screams at him. So, but anyway, uh, oh, wait, here. More comments. Tommy Umbrella, Steve, what's up? Well, I'm getting to what's up. We have a major channel announcement. Oh, the Spaminator is here. Boy, how wonderful. I thought if perhaps I gave no warning, you wouldn't be able to make it. Oh, well, I'm glad I was wrong. Okay, you have to give me some advance notice before summoning me. That was a delicate moment to be straight away from. Didn't even get to wipe. Eh. Big Aldo's BookTube has left a cartoon of some kind. David Wiley, 110% agree. Reviews are nearly impossible to get as an indie author. Every indie author has told me that. Everyone has told me that, whether they want a review from me or not. They've all told me that you do all this work. You work on the book. You squeeze away little bits of time here and there to get a manuscript. Then you go over the manuscript 1,000 times. Then you hire an editor to go over the manuscript 1,000 times. You spend money on a cover designer, a book designer. You do everything right. You set an advanced reveal of the cover art. You set a book launch date. You make a big deal out of it. You try to create fanfare. The book appears and then disappears because it's lost in a sea of other books, and only reviews will get it out of there. And that is, I've heard that from so many indie authors. Randy Ray, the Spaminator's here. Now it's a party. Well, it's a kind of party. My book news, the Spaminator, you don't have your Steve Dar on. Everyone should have their Steve Dar on. Although I didn't mean to spring this. I didn't know that. I don't have time. I have a limited amount of time, far more limited than usual for this, to make my major channel announcement, which none of you seem all that curious about. Big Al does BookTube. I've heard it can interfere with gaydar. Oh, Steve Dar interferes with gaydar? There are a whole bunch of problems with that theory. Blue Laser Ryan, it's very humid here in North Carolina. Reading my Kindle while walking. Boy, oh boy. My surly houseboy actually has the habit of reading while he walks on the sidewalk. And I stare at it open mouthed. I would be dead in a minute if I did that. I would be hit by the very first car if I did that, if I tried to do that. David Wiley, however, I've never been in it for the money, but rather to be read by people. Just knowing the book has been read and enjoyed by some people is worthwhile. Well, I entirely agree. That's why I was so happy to be asked to contribute a story to Half Human Hero. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. Half Human Heroes proceeded entirely without me. Wasn't asked to be part of it. Didn't get to contribute a story. Had a million ideas. Oh, yoga. Oh. Yeah, I wasn't asked in any way. Sent a copy of the book. No, not at all. Even though, of all the contributors to Half Human Heroes, I'm the only one who's actually half human. No, but no. Was I asked? No. Ah, the sound of open windows in the summer. People have often asked me why it's so loud, so many sirens outside my window. There's actually a good reason for it. It's a bad reason. It's that the people in this neighborhood don't move for ambulances. When you hear an ambulance siren, you're supposed to pull away and make a path for them. And the reason you're supposed to do that is because you are thinking it's your mother. And the difference of 30 seconds could make all the difference in the world, literally between life and death. That's how you're supposed to think about it. That's how human empathy is supposed to make you think about it. Instead, I've seen it more times than I can count, where the ambulance can't get past because people won't move out of the way until a cop car comes and threatens them. If you don't move out of the way, I'll arrest everyone in the car. The kids will go into the social service program. You'll never see them again. you have to pull over for an ambulance. If you don't do it, I'll arrest everyone in the car and pull the car over myself. I've seen that happen so many times. That's the reason that the sirens go crazy, is because no one will move. uh, anyway, uh, uh, David Riley, I already read your comment about not being in it for the money. No, you're in it for the fellowship. About how wonderful it is to be wanted by all the good folks at Half Human Heroes. Must be nice. Mm-hmm. Must be really nice. Blue Laser Eye, and I almost stepped on a dead squirrel. Oh, are we back to talking about the Spaminator? A nerdishly active. That's a name I don't know. Exactly what is a surly houseboy? You don't have one of your own? Strongly advise getting one. They are very, very useful, and they don't take up much space. Oh, the Spaminator. Hell, I don't gaydar either. That made things mighty complicated during that semi-supervillain convention in Thailand. Well, in order to avoid the problems, you could not go to supervillain conventions. Most people would consider that a bad thing to do anyway. Reading this life, yes, sound the sirens, yes, sound the alarms there. They haven't done all that bad so far this late spring going into summer. It hasn't been all that bad, and that's why it happens. It's because people won't get out of the way for ambulance. I've seen so many times. This is the only place anywhere in the world where I've seen it necessary for police to come and order cars to move out of the way of an ambulance. Of course, by that time, the recipient of the ambulance's care is dead. It's just depraved. I just don't get it at all. Aaron, read a book. Is there a booktube event for indie books? I don't think there is, and that would be a great idea. I should certainly do something. Let's just say I'm a little bit jejune on the whole idea of booktube events. When I agree to an event, the other booktubers who agree to an event with me stop making videos. It's not just that they don't participate in the event; it's that they leave the platform. So I'm a little bit put off on booktube events, but I should at least do it myself. And like I said, I think a couple of years ago, I mused out loud that I really ought to not only talk more about indie books, but get indie authors on here to talk about their books. I think that would be a lot of fun. I don't know many indie authors. I mean, David Wiley could tell me better, but I don't know many authors who would refuse that. And I'm a pretty fun interview. I like interviewing people. I wouldn't let it go south. But anyway, Blue Laser Ryan. Okay, get back to reading later. You're leaving before the major announcement. Randy Ray. Okay, focus announcement. Oh yes, yes, the announcement. Yes. The announcement has to do with something that has happened in my life just recently. I have undertaken a massive amount of work for the summer, extra work, and I'm learning more about it. I learned about it officially yesterday. I'm learning more about it today. It's large. It's a huge amount of stuff. Uh, Randy Ray says, "Let me guess, you're going to start posting more videos every day." Big Al does BookTube, says Pariah, and then includes a cartoon of some kind. Tony Cross, Steve, do you fancy joining me for Remembrance Reads? I do it in November to mark Remembrance Sunday. Reading books about World War One, fiction, poetry, nonfiction. That sounds like a wonderful idea. I just got a book on World War One. I'll have plenty before then. Yeah, that sounds like a wonderful idea. B Horn, hello, Steve, and chat. David Wiley, I'd absolutely consider something like that, and I'd guess most other BookTube indie authors would too. Well, yeah, the indie authors who aren't part of BookTube would certainly agree to it. The ones who are part of BookTube don't want anything to do with me because I'm a leper, a pariah. But my announcement, to get to my announcement, this huge amount of work. It's in the preliminary planning stages right now, but it's going when it ramps up. It's really going to ramp up. And in order for me to perform what amounts to a miracle between now and mid-August, I'm afraid I'm going to have to decrease my video output on this channel. I think that for the summer, I'm going to have to drop down to 3 videos a day instead of 5 plus a Stevestream. Now, I'm rolling my eyes just a bit because 3 videos a day is freakish. No one does that. No one does that. And the people who maybe bust their hump to do 1 video a day, all of which they film on one day on the weekends, wouldn't dream of doing 5 videos a day. They wouldn't dream of it. Nevertheless, I almost feel like I owe you people an apology because I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I think I'm going to have to drop my production down to 3 videos a day. Uh, and that's not going to go over well with a lot of people. And it also raises questions, a lot of spoiled people, I should say. But it raises questions in my mind if that's true. If it's a hard number, then it raises questions in my mind about what I should do. Like, for instance, right now I'm doing a read along, I'm doing a read aloud of Barchester Towers by Anthony Trollope. I am loving doing it. I absolutely love doing it. And the tiny handful of people who are following along seem to enjoy it too. But that number is going down with every chapter that I read because newcomers look and see, oh, well, chapter 13, okay, I'm not going to jump in here. I'm not going to watch this video. It might do better in playlists, when it's all finished. But my question, if I reduce my outcome to 3 videos a day, do I keep reading Barchester Towers? Is that one of the three? That'd be one of the three with only 2 videos left. And keep in mind, there are going to be events this summer. Uh, June on the Range starts in just 2 weeks. There'll be Garb August. There'll be BookTube at War. There may even be an expanded version of Book Trek. Each of those is going to require a video. Maybe one a day. In the case of Star Trek, it might very well be one a day. Then what? Then what? It could, I mean, and you've got Tag Tuesday. I don't have to worry about that because I'm a lepa. I'm a pariah. So nobody tags me. Nobody likes me. But there's Poetry Thursday. There's Epic Comic Book Wednesday. I try to do a Friday reads. Haven't done one in a couple of weeks, but I try to. Those start to add up. Is it possible that I should postpone finishing reading Barchester Towers until the end of the summer? Just looking at the needs of the many outweighing the needs of the few. Should I do that? Uh, but anyway, wait, I'm missing the chat here. See, uh, Ingrid Fitz has cartoon faces. I don't know what they mean. I don't read cartoons. I'm not a child, but I can guess kind of that they express disappointment. Ryan says, Steve, just discovered you. Love your channel. I want to study your sleep patterns. I assume you mean clinically. But welcome to the channel. Mary M, 3 videos a day is more than fair. Well, I want to point out gently that 3 videos a day is freakish. It's absolutely freakish. But it's not as freakish as 5 videos a day. Oh my God, that is so dramatic. Oh, see, you can do that. It's not as freakish as 5 videos. And I have acclimated quite a few people, including the thing that kills me is quite a few elderly shut-ins and also quite a few little kids that I know for a fact I have acclimated to 5 videos a day. And this feels like like a betrayal of them. I know that it isn't, but a Big Al does BookTube. BookTube global output is about to plummet. N.O. Dines set up cams so we can watch you 24/7. I don't think you'd want to do that. I don't think you would. Ryan, so funny you think 3 a day is low output. You're doing great. Well, I wanted to announce it anyway because I don't see a way around it. I really don't. There are certain immovable things. And once I factored them in, Frida, of course, is an immovable thing. Any time that she wants is time that she gets. But also reading. Reading is also an immovable thing, but I don't really need to worry about that because I've sort of positioned the bulk of my reading for the dead of night when nobody needs me or wants me anyway. So, but then I was thinking of everything else. There are writing obligations; they have to happen. BookTube feels like an obligation, a great one, a wonderful one, but uh, anyway, the Spaminator finishing up the Oxford Book of English Ghost Stories. Didn't think it was possible to have an anthology without at least one stinker. Marvelous. Well, I did say that it was great, so you already knew that. But I'm glad you liked it. Aaron, read a book. Read the rest of the book in one giant. Read the rest of the book in one giant video. I don't know. I'm tempted to just put Barchester Towers on hold. Definitely come back to it, but just put it on hold until mid-August. I don't think that would break many hearts. And that seems like a weak link. A few other weak links, but that seems like a weak link that could go. So if we're talking about 3 videos a day, that isn't one of them. So it frees me up for more. I don't know. I know there are 2 people who email me who are loving that read aloud of Barchester Towers, and both of them are loving it for the same reason, because both of them have elderly relatives who might be watching now, uh, and they love it. The elderly relatives love it, and they love anything that eases their afternoon. So I feel I feel wrong about that, but the crass way to put it is it's two people, and those videos, not more than two people, not many more than two people watch those videos. It seems like that would be something that could pause. Um, anyway, Ryan says Big Brother Steve Cam. Big Al says 24/7 Steve Stream. Guilty feet. Have you considered cloning? It won't actually work with me. Uh, if you know anyone in the medical profession, you could ask all about ATP ratios. Uh, but anyway, Anti Gaia, Steve, where should I start with AS Buy It? Funny question. Uh, I would start with short stories and see if you like. The question is are you going to like this author? No matter how applauded the author is, it matters, are you going to like this author? Are you going to get along with her choices rhetorically? So read short stories to get acquainted with her and find out. Uh, the Spaminator, might I suggest the long-awaited part 2 of the Literary Canon Starter Kit? Damn it. Well, that seems less likely and not more likely. Malcolm say, John, until you start midnight Steve streams. No, at midnight it all stops. At midnight everything stops. Mark Richardson, hello all. Ryan, thoughts on new Dennis Lehane? I've talked about it on this channel. You are not hanging on my every word. I really liked it. I really, really liked it. I think on a reread, I might like it even more. NP Hunt, I picked up the Dragonbone Chair, Paradise War, and Strange Dreams anthology edited by Stephen Donaldson from charity shelves my local Tesco. Which would you recommend to read first? Probably the Dragonbone Chair. It's a big undertaking. You got all these things really cheap? That's wonderful. But anyway, I can't keep this Steve stream going all night long. It was really meant only to make to issue a thank you, because those email tips in my inbox about ebook deals are fantastic. They are incredible. They don't feel like spam at all. I know it's only been 2 days, so they might have time to feel like spam later on, but they don't right now. And also to make a major channel change announcement. We are probably going to have to drop from 5 videos a day to 3 videos a day. That is probably going to have to. Oh, goodness gracious. It's very windy, but it's very windy because this weird front that brought in today's rather warm air is now leaving, and I think that cooler air is coming. I don't think the rest of the week's going to feel like this at all. Ryan says, a fan of Martin Cruz Smith, Gorky Park. Yeah, you don't have to remind me that he wrote Gorky Park. Okay. Oh, did you mention that you're brand new here? Maybe, are you the one who mentioned that you're brand new here? You don't need those parenthetical inclusions. Okay. This is my profession, and I've been doing it for a long, long time. So, but anyway, and many Arkady Renko novels. New one is in Ukraine. Yes, well, I've already talked about this on this channel, haven't I? I'm pretty sure that I have. I really like the Arkady Renko novels. I thought the new one was a little busy. I mean, that's a weakness of this author anyway, but I thought it was a little busy. I thought there was unrealistically, almost funnily, too much going on. And I would have pared it away. If I'd been its main editor, I would have had a long talk with Martin Cruz Smith about maybe paring some of it away. And on the less is more principle, but still really, really good. He's still one of the best ones doing what he does. Nat Rome, good luck with all your work, Steve. I'm sure I'll appreciate however many videos you end up putting out. Well, all I'm thinking about is that events are coming up. Summer is thickly populated with great booktube events. I want to be part of them all, but that'll mean a video. I don't know. I'll work it out somehow. I mean, theoretically, I could do the usual slate of 5 videos a day if they were all shorter. But I always look with scorn on booktubers who can't manage to wheedle their way up to 10 minutes in a video. I always feel sorry for that. I make fun of them for that. Oliver Anderson, not an elderly relative, but I'm loving the Barchester read aloud. I'd be fine with it going on hold as long as it definitely comes back. It definitely would come back. All I'm thinking about is numbers, which I'm not good at thinking about it, which I never really enjoy thinking about. And I'm looking at those videos and I'm thinking, Well, okay, if you have to cut something, that's going to be something that fewer people will miss because fewer people are paying attention to it. That sounds very mercenary, but maybe I don't know. I don't know. Uh, Ryan says, sorry, am news. Well, I figured you would have to. Oh my god. Okay, 1 second ago, you gave me a parenthetical little heads up that Martin Cruz Smith wrote Gorky Park 1 second ago. Then half a second ago, you apologized and said, sorry, am new, Steve. And then a picosecond after that, you left a message saying Wolf and the Watchman and named its author. I know who its author is. I reviewed the book. I know who its author is. You do not need to give me little boosts. You really don't. This is my profession. I am a freak. I read 150 pages an hour for 10 hours a day. And I've been doing that since before your parents were born. I have a pretty good recall. I can't believe you did that right away. What's next? You're going to leave a message saying, wondering if I should try Bleak House, and in parentheses, C. Dickens. David Wiley, you're welcome to trim Mutant Mondays down to 5 to 10 minutes, although that might be tough this coming Monday with Messiah Complex. Oh my, I've been deeply ensconced in Messiah Complex. Deeply, thanks to you. I've been deeply ensconced in rereading that and wondering what to make of it. Just what to make of it. I don't know. Is this all a pipe dream then? Am I just going to say this, make a portentous channel change announcement like all the dumb booktubers do, and then not make the change, just do 5 videos a day anyway? I don't know. I really, really enjoy BookTube, and I am the fastest gun east of the Pecos. This is an enormous slate of work, essentially writing a book, researching and writing a book in 3.5 months, essentially. Orion is back. How about quirk novels by, oh my God, he's still doing it. You're still identifying. Oh my God. Oh my God. You really are going to tell me that Dickens wrote Bleak House. Oh my God. You're still doing it. Oh, okay. Ryan has another message. I'm afraid to read it. You're going to help me out here. Who wrote Gravity's Rainbow? Who was it? What is it? Bukowski? Let's buckle down and read it. I've never met anyone that has read everything. Bad habit to mention authors. Sorry, I'm loving the channel. Okay. I'm not saying that I've read everything, but for God's sake, take some advice from other people who are at this channel. I don't need the help. I really don't. If I do, I will ask you, but it will be very rare. David Wiley, MKV makes a channel change every 1 to 2 months that silently gets retconned a few months later. I noticed that same thing. He does. He goes out of his way to get Roger ready out of his crypt, makes a video, and solemnly says, I'm going to do this. I've just got to. I don't have the time. He does it anyway. So maybe this is much ado about nothing. It could very well be. I wish that I could hash it out longer, but this Stevestream has to end. It cannot keep going on. This is the Stevestreams are actually the biggest piece of fat on the bone. Because they're endless. They go on forever. And I love them. I love them more than anything, but because it's the closest I'm ever going to get to having you all here to chat in person. But they are the biggest vulnerability. I'm thinking one Stevestream a week instead of one a day for 2 hours. Connor, I'm halfway through The Big Cheat by David K. Johnston. Okay, it's spreading. I keep having to check the sources, and yet everything checks out. Oh, yeah. David doesn't publish anything unless it's perfect, unless it will stand the assault of the Bridget Nijmegen. You can take what he writes to the bank. Even 6 years into the Trump regime, it all seems comically absurd. Yeah, and that's only, he's left a lot of stuff out of his books that won't stand that kind of scrutiny, but that is certainly true. That he's had to leave out because it won't stand legal challenge. And some of that stuff, well, you saw the news today, right? It's all over the news today. This lawsuit that's brought against Rudy Giuliani. And everybody's commenting, everyone's concentrating on all the lascivious details, when right there in the lawsuit is that he openly discussed and is on camera discussing how he and Trump were going to sell pardons for money, and how in 2019 Trump had a plan to declare the election fraudulent, whether he won or lost. So, uh, comically absurd is one way to put it. That is the tip of the iceberg, because I have been saying for years that there, the thing people don't remember about January 6th is that there were attempts made all across the country on regional centers of government. And the fake elector scheme is the biggest part of it, not the smallest part. This was long, long in the planning to supplant the government, to effect a coup. This was long, long in the planning. And until yesterday, still today, the foremost voices that we had saying that were, Russian turncoats like Lev Parnas. Now it's in a deposition, and there is tape of Rudy Giuliani saying it. So it's not going to matter, because no one at the Department of Justice is paying any attention. They're not going to do anything. The Department of Justice under Merrick Garland is not going to move against Donald Trump in any way whatsoever, ever. But nevertheless, at least history will be able to put the dots together a lot easier than this. Anyway, Sydney Sommer, Mr. Steve has read everything. Well, at least, mm, Ryan is back. Oh my God, I'm almost afraid to read this. Is it okay to binge the Slow House novels? Did you enjoy Gary Oldman's Slow Horses show? Slow House? What could that be? uh, it's Well, of course, it's okay to binge them, but if you're asking can they be read in any order, you should start with the first one. The first one introduces not only the core cast, but also the concept. It's very much a concept series, and I mean, it won't kill you. I know lots of people who started later on, especially when it started to take off, to gain steam, and the earlier books weren't at their library. But if you can, you should start with the first one. That's how I did it, and I think I got a lot more out of it that way. And I very much like the Gary Oldman show. Gary Oldman is slowly growing into an actor that I like. Colo 1546. Hi, Steve. Have you heard of a book called Pride and Prejudice? Now, don't pick on Ryan. He said he was new. So don't pick on he said he was new, and he needed time to get it out of his system. He did it a few more times in the span of a few seconds, but I think now he won't. Let's have to hope. And you have to admit, it is a little freakish to get used to. Kevin L. Are the novels of Alan First worth a read? Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, if I were you with Alan First, I would start early and move to late. He is definitely an example of what my fellow critical brethren refer to as late style. You can see it grow in him. However we want to define what late style is, you can definitely see it in him. So you'd want to experience what it was like, what he was writing like when he was gathering his audience. Now he's writing knowing that he has one. Monet Doyle says hello. Jackson Reinhardt. Oh, I lost you. But this doesn't matter because we're not sticking around forever. This Stevestream has to end. I know you say one of your least favorite genres is sports books, but is there a nonfiction titles in American sports that you heartily recommend? Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, it depends broadly on what you mean by sports. The Boys of Summer by David Halberstam is fantastic, for instance. Big Bam is a biography of Babe Ruth that is amazingly good. I'm sure I can come up with others. What was the one that was adapted into a Shia LaBeouf movie about a guy who plays an enormously long round of golf? What was that called? I forget the name of the book, but I loved it. I loved it before it was a movie, and so on and so forth. Oh yeah, there are plenty. It'd be take me a while to pull them together. It's not a genre that I read a lot of, but there's plenty of good stuff in there. Yeah. Ryan is responding to Colo 1546. I'm just learning Steve is a savant. Don't know. We shouldn't pick on Ryan. You all had this period where you went through this. I have an author. I'm wondering if you've ever heard of him. You've all tried that at one point or another. Don't pretend you haven't. Ryan's just new. That's all. Behorn, postponing the read aloud would give me a chance to read/listen to the warden. Well, it would be a postponement. That's what I want to stress. to the people who will be watching this video as a video on the channel later, I would not forget about it. I would come back to it, but I'm thinking maybe that's one way, at least, to free up space for the daily videos. Uh, Street Medic, why isn't Trump in prison already? Yeah, yeah. He committed high treason on camera, live in real time, in front of the whole world. He should have been arrested and maybe shot in the head that day, January 6th. But no, instead people are afraid of him. Well, in one sense, very, very explicitly, because people are afraid of him. His followers will find out where you live, find out where your children go to school. There's a whole bunch more of that than makes the headlines. Because you typically don't make the headlines. When you go to your kid's school and you look across the parking lot and you see them talking with a guy you don't know, and he's got his arm on their shoulder, and then your kid turns and sees you and runs up the parking lot happy as a clam to see you, and the first thing you want to know, you squat down, you hold their shoulders, and the first thing you say is, "Who is that guy? He's not one of your teachers. I don't recognize him." And she says, "Oh, I just met him. He's out here. He says his name is Dave. He said to make sure to tell you that it's wonderful to see me here." And you look up from her across the parking lot in the distance, and Dave just waves to you and smiles. And before you can do anything about it, he's gone. You're not going to go to the press and say that, but you know damn well what that is, and you're not going to do anything about it. If you, the person picking your daughter up at school, are a prosecutor in the Department of Justice, you're not going to deal with that. You're not going to do that job. You're not going to do that work. You're going to stonewall it. If you're Merrick Garland and you have, let's say, a major secret that you are hiding, and you get a guy like that at your golf club, who just walks over and says, "Hey, I think you dropped this ball. Oh, and by the way," under his breath, "Oh, and by the way," and then mentions the name of a particular hotel in Cabo. Your blood will go cold. You won't go to the press. So there's a lot of that nobody knows anything about. And that's what this guy is. That's what he's always been. He's a mobster. That could be one of the reasons. I don't know. I don't know otherwise. Also, another awkward element here that no one in America wants to think about is how badly the military and the law enforcement are corrupted. How badly they're on his side. But the answer to your question is a short, I don't know. Jenny Park says, "Damn late again." Yes, you are, young lady, because this has to end. We cannot go on all night with this. I need to wrap this up because I have a lot more to do just tonight before tomorrow's onslaught starts. Tydides says, "Somebody ask him if he read Metamorphoses by Ovid, please." Don't make fun of Ryan. He didn't know. It is freakish. So, Aaron Hook, there's a book doing the rounds called Code of the Worcester. Steve, is this a straight chap? What else? Have you heard of it? Connor, I knew I could get a political rant out of you. Well, okay, but it's not a political rant. A political rant would be if I went on and on about what I think should be done about the immigration crisis in this country, or about social safety net programs, or the maintenance of infrastructure. Those are political subjects. This is not a political subject. This is what I've been saying since January 6th. This is not politics. If you support someone who tried to execute his vice president and overthrow the country by force, it is not a political stance. But anyway, Jackson Reinhardt, Stephen, it's just Steve, not Stephen. "I know horror is not your favorite genre, but what are your thoughts on Clive Barker and his relationship to gay literature? I find his horror work the best of the late 20th century." It would be uneven, right? Even you would have to admit that. He wrote, the most you could say is that he wrote some of the best horror of the late 20th century. You couldn't say that his work in the late 20th century is the best of horror, because when he's bad, he's really bad. Right? I think you would have to agree with that. There's some of his horror stuff is designed to gross you out, and that's all. He can't write below a certain level of literary ability. But that doesn't excuse. I would estimate him fairly highly, including his more ambitious books that his diehard fans, if he has any left, don't particularly like. He wrote, I'm thinking of Magica, which came up last night, but also another one. What was the other one? The Great and Something Show. I'm not remembering the title of it, but I thought the book was incredibly accomplished, and people don't talk about it. They don't read his longer works. Daniel Marlett, even though they can be quite good, would you consider Star Trek novels to be garbage by the Garbogus definition? Or would that be reserved for books like Next Generation X-Men crossover? Um, yeah, well, I made a lot of videos about what garbage is, what we mean by garbage. And I intend to do that exact same thing again in August. The rest of the co-hosts for Garb August can talk about the garbage they're reading. I want to talk about theory because I'm a dude, bro. And one of the things that I often said about garbage that may or may not indicate that what you're reading is garbage is that it's not a book on its own. In other words, by definition, all pastiche fiction is garbage because it's not a book on its own. You have to know about it going in, so it doesn't have to stand completely on its own. If we use that as a partial guideline, then first of all, we're removing the pejorative from the word garbage, which we should anyway. But second, we're ruling in everything like Star Trek or Doctor Who or anything like that because it's all pastiche fiction, regardless of how effectively it's done. So I don't know but if you have something that is pastiche fiction and it's really, really well done, does it graduate out of the ranks of garbage? Fascinating stuff. Ooh, I'm gonna bore you people cross-eyed in August. Although the next gen X-Men crossover is just garbage. Aaron, read a book. Are you a fan of Elizabeth Jane Howard? Don't think I've ever seen her pop up in a Brattle Hall. I haven't found her at the Brattle. I haven't found her. I would love to. I would love to find a couple of her better known books, the one that made her name. They never crop up, or if they do, they're in such crappy shape that I wouldn't get them. I'm not a fan, but I don't dislike her. I'm certainly up for a reread, for re-encountering this author. Absolutely. 105 people? How is this possible? We have to wrap this up, and there are 100 people here. God help us. Now, why is that? Is that the time? I gave no warning for this chat at all, and there are 30% more people here than there were yesterday, when I gave almost no warning. Why is that? Is it the time? Anyway, Tides. I just finished Iliad by Pope. With a name like yours, I would assume so. I read Fagles first. I fell in love with A. Pope. I didn't know his essays are in couplets too. Crazy. I bet he spoke in couplets. He didn't speak in couplets. Connor, Steve, what are your thoughts on the Iliad Greek and Dancer from the Dance gay? You people are picking on Ryan when he has already apologized. That isn't fair. I'm standing up for my boy. Nick Piccirilli, I think the greatest game ever played is the one you were thinking of. Yes, that's right. That's right. Which the original trade paperback had a touched up colorized photo of the player and his caddy. And then the movie version had the Shia LaBeouf and his caddy in the same pose with the same color touching. You could almost not tell the covers apart, if I remember correctly. David Wiley, signing off so you can get back to your to-do list for the evening. Thank you for another excellent Stevestream. Well, I'll say it must be because there's 30% more people here, and I don't know why. I looked up and saw that number. I was shocked. Jackson Reinhardt, apologies on the name Steve. I don't know what that's in reference to here. Randy Ray, uneven is the perfect way to describe Clive Barker. Yeah. In more ways than one. Yeah, but yeah, is writing? Absolutely. Yes, indeed. The Spaminator, I think Clive Barker is very good in short form, not so much in novel length. We'll see, but that's where I think that would probably be the usual estimate of him. And it's where I differ. And maybe it's just that I like longer books, but I don't like longer books just because they have to be good. And I think his longer works always please me more than anything skimpy like Books of Blood or anything like that. Randy Ray is back. Oh, wait, where'd you go? Let's find you again. There you are. The garbage Star Trek books are the Phoenix novels, which will be discussed at length during Garb August and Book Trek. Those are my favorite Star Trek books you are maligning, my good sir. You have offended me, sir. Slap with the white glove across the face. Those are not garbage. They are not garbage. How dare you? We will not sell that which makes love possible. Ah, but that is the price of the Phoenix. Let's do a read along. Oh, Monet Doyle, have you read any books by Allison Rhymes? I think I have. Kevin J.N., hi, Steve. Thanks for exposing me to Pope Patrick. Loving it thus far. That's wonderful. So many people reading Pope Patrick and enjoying it. That's great. Jared Henderson is here. Did I miss a major channel announcement? Yes, you did. Earlier in the live stream, I announced that due to a massive job that I am taking on, I may have to decrease my videos on this channel from 5 a day to 3 a day. Major channel announcement. Jackson Reinhardt, I'll say that in comparison to his horror contemporaries, Barker is at the peak of the genre. Saul, King, Straub, most of their 80s, 90s output is unreadable. Only Ligotti and co. matches up to Barker. I would have to disagree with you about Peter Straub. I don't know why. It's confusing that you would include him in a sweep like that. You don't find his work mostly good? John Saul, I agree with you completely. And of course, my opinions on Stephen King are well known. But Peter Straub, that seems, I don't know. Granted, it's been a while since I revisited any of these people. Fit to be read, it's the title. What's the title? Street Medic, speaking of horror, Ghost Story is one case where IMO, the movie was better than the book. Hell, the book wasn't really even about ghosts. Oh, right. Well, I love the movie and I didn't like the book as much, so I think we probably agree. I don't know what's bothering me about the way you put that. Fit to be read, channel change. Yes, indeed, channel change. I'm dropping my content output by 30%, which in most channels would mean they would stop doing BookTube. In my case, it means going from 5 videos a day to 3 videos a day. Bookends and Books, you're here from the beginning. Here you are still. Yes, it's the time just after work. Oh, okay. That must explain it. There are a lot of people here. Alan Black, I haven't been able to catch a live stream in ages. I missed the channel update. How is Frida? Frida is right here. Sound asleep. She's sound asleep. We had a nice, exhausting walk, so she's sound asleep. Zoe Archer, please keep reading Barchester Towers. I'm really enjoying it and feeling like I'm understanding it with your explanations of the text. Well, the number one thing that people who have been emailing about it have said is, please don't stop your interpolated comments. I've had a number of people make very nice emails about how that makes this worthwhile. That I am not just reading the book, I am teaching the book, as one person put it. But it's very few people who are watching. If I'm doing a cost-benefit analysis like a YouTube Bro, it would be weak. It would be the thing that I would probably, and I wouldn't be stopping. I would just be postponing until I am done doing the impossible in the next 3.5 months. David Adams, it's 11 p.m. here, and I've been reading The Life and Loves of a She-Devil. Why? Are you being punished? Did you offend someone? Randy Ray, definitely the title. Lots of interesting changes to your channel. Oh, that's what Michael meant. The title is what's bringing people in here. Oh, it can't be. The title's a joke. It can't be. It can't be that people on YouTube are that biddable. I hope not. D Temple 54, 3 long videos. They couldn't be long. Oh, that would defeat the purpose. John Petter, please continue the Trump rants. In my opinion, he's simply too unpopular at the moment to pose any political future insurrection threat. You are incorrect. And you're going to find that out because a lot of people, the worst people in the worst positions, tend to agree with you. Unless I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Diamond Dave, the way that he will not be a threat is for him to not be on the stage as an actor. And he is. He is on the stage as an actor because all levels of the government are avoiding him. They won't touch him. You or I would be in jail without communication, without bail, without a lawyer for 1/10 of what he is on camera doing. Law enforcement is intentionally avoiding touching him. I don't care what the talking head legal experts on MSNBC have to say about the Fulton County DA. I don't care about that at all. If somebody walked into a CVS in Fulton County and shot dead the guy behind the counter, that person would be already convicted, the trial would be over, their appeals would be over, and they would be serving their sentence. This is ridiculous. This has been years, years since this guy called for a crowd to march to the Capitol and fight like hell. A guy who sat doing nothing while the crowd wanted to kill his vice president. If this was anyone else, the law would already have acted. I am so sick of hearing people say on MSNBC and all other news programs, well, Jack Smith's just biding his time. He's just making sure all his ducks are in a row. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. How many times does this have to happen before people realize? Anyway, Jack Smith, the Justice Department, has the ability to peremptorily arrest Donald Trump and hold him incommunicado until he is brought to trial in a federal case for insurrection, and they won't do it. They could, and they won't. And that says all that you need to know about what kind of a threat he is in the future. But anyway, Diamond Dave Wanford, to be honest, if I watch all your videos, I'd never get any reading done. I like the fact that I'll never run out. No, you will never run out. Taylor Brock, what is the new project? Are you ghostwriting? Ghostwriting? That sounds so terrible. Surely nobody ghostwrites anymore. I am merely holding. It's the labors of Hercules. Is what it is. One of the labors of Hercules is he goes up to Atlas, the Titan, who is holding the heavens on his shoulders, and he has to take that weight from Atlas for a bit. Why Atlas doesn't hair off and never come back, I don't know. But Hercules has to bear that weight for a little while. That's what I'm doing for the next 3 months. Jared Henderson, like a YouTube bro. How dare I know I'm insulting your people. We still need to have a chat. I still think about that. When chemistry like that happens, you don't let it go. We still need to have a chat. As long as you can keep that firewall present so that your hordes of fans don't find me. Because I already have enough mouths to feed. Geo Craftsman, the title definitely intrigued me for one. Okay, it must be the title. I don't know that I like that. In fact, I know that I don't. That's depressing. Steve Austin, hello, what's happening? What changes? I am dropping my productivity, Steve Austin, from 5 videos a day to 3 videos a day. I'm just figuring out how to do that and when it will take effect. Alan Black, just seen you now have 14.5K subscribers. I suggest another Q&A. Well, I could do another Q&A. That would take a video off the tally for that day. But yes, I have 14.5. Michael K. Vaughn has easily surpassed me at 15K. And that's as it should be. Look at the work that he puts into his channel when he's got a full-time job. But it might be time for another Q&A. That might be a good idea. It's a little... Actually, if I put out the call tomorrow and let questions accumulate and did them on the weekend, that would work. I'll do that tomorrow. 14.5. That's legitimate. Colombian Thunder, I heard Ray Bradbury once said no one can write 52 bad novels, stories. King has around 65. At gunpoint, is there one King book you say you think is decent? Maybe Salem's Lot. Maybe parts of Salem's Lot. Maybe a couple of parts of, not whole stories, but a couple of parts of different seasons. Otherwise, no. And Bradbury was wrong. Very much so. He was wrong about his own contemporaries. There are plenty of his own contemporaries who could do that. Once you get into habit, you can do it over and over again. Ure, not your ace. Oh, where'd you go? Hello, Steve. This is the best time for a stream, in my opinion. Lou G, your clickbait game is strong. You almost had me with the all caps in the title. Thomas Hefferon, Olivia Manning, Muriel Spark, or Penelope Fitzgerald? For tennis? Definitely Muriel Spark. Backhand like goes on for days. Street Medic, do we get college credits for watching? No, alas. No. But Thomas Hefferon, I don't want to be just a putz. Believe it or not, in terms of literary quality, you have listed them in descending order. So start with Olivia Manning. Noah Giles, just curious, what are your thoughts on Alexander Thoreau? Who's that? I read Primary Colors, and it seemed like he's interested in showing how much he knows. Yeah, yeah, I would say so. Street Medic, don't get me started on the gun cult. I average 1 shooting call a week. It's the guns. If there's a gun everywhere, if there's a gun right there, you're going to shoot somebody where otherwise you would just yell at them. It's the guns. Judge and jury, hello. Semester finally ended. Finally, how are you, Steve? I'm glad to hear your semester's over. I'm fine. Ryan, Umberto Eco thoughts, Name of the Rose. Thoughts on a whole author and his whole body of work in a Stevestream that I'm trying to wrap up at 10 past the hour. There's no way to do that. There's no way to do that. He's a very worthwhile author, and so is The Name of the Rose is a very worthwhile book. Randy Ray, Salem's Lot is terrific, probably my favorite King novel. Ryan, his later stuff is not blowing me away. Ryan. So you must be talking about Eco, Umberto Eco. It depends on what you mean by later stuff. I might agree with that, provided we are exempting the Prague Cemetery. What's the matter, baby? Huh? Oh. 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 There you go. Try some more. Try some more. There you go. There you go. Oh, there's oh. Anyway, sorry. Let's see here. Jenny Parks, just do one Stevestream each day covering Brattle, decor, and rants. Could be fun. A Stevestream a day is not a bad idea. I'm so wedded to the traditional idea of BookTube videos. These are more fun. James Amix, is this major summer project going to turn into something that we can purchase? I don't know what you're talking about. What on earth could you be talking about? I don't know what you mean. Although I am hoping that some of you are finding room on your schedule for buying a new Waco book. Judge and Jury, I lift heavy books to increase muscle mass. Here, we're going to have to wrap this up because I have to go. And Novella is here. Is Frida getting her own show? No, no, she's not. She's fine all by herself. She's a good baby. Let's see here. Street Medic. Atlas was an idiot. Hercules, hey, man, you mind if I put a cushion on my shoulder? Atlas, sure, man. Hercules, I'm out of here. Taylor Brock, will you ever go back to showing us your shirtless pics in your live stream thumbnails? When occasion warrants, certainly. Judge and Jury, is Lovecraft worthwhile? Well, if you talk to Michael K. Vaughan, he certainly is. He's never done anything for me. But he's a perfect example of a case where I must be wrong. Ordinarily, you won't hear me say that all too often, but over the decades, I have had so many people tell me that I am wrong about H.P. Lovecraft, and some of them have been losers, but others of them have not been. And some of them have been people whose literary judgment is I trusted implicitly, including some authors that you have read. So I know that in this case, it must just be me. I'm just not on his wavelength at all. Ferdy, hi Steve, just wanted to recommend you another YouTuber who is, just like you, a very articulate and well-spoken speaker, but in her case, on movies. You'll love her channel, Deep Focus Lens. Okay, I'm going to have to hope that the chat is visible when I replay this video because I don't have anything to write that down with. I'm never going to remember. Steve Austin, is this change permanent? I heard you were suggesting cutting the little side commentaries you divert into whilst reviewing books. That's the best thing about your channel, point blank. I won't be able to cut off the cuff commentary, but no, the change isn't permanent. No, thank God, no, because the work that I have to do, which is, let's face it, impossible. I have been asked for the 4th time in 10 years to do the impossible. I will do it, and I will do it on time, and it will be terrific, but it is impossible. The people who are making these requests wouldn't even think about doing it, about making the request to anybody else. Anyway, I have to go. I have to leave. Even though the chat is going on here, I have to leave. And that is bothering me. Daniel Marlette, I'm home from the hospital, so you can now ease your video production with my blessing. Glad you're home and safe. D Temple 54 says, read the Bible, in parentheses, God. A room for Epsilon. Thank you for your videos. Give Frida a pet for me. I'll do that right now. Won't I be? Oh, she's just licking me. So pretty cool. So pretty. Let's see here. Danielle, Bluegrass Reader, I think you should make the videos that make you happy. No apologies needed for being busy. Ryan, are you a fan of Murakami? Which one? Jonathan Francis. Judge and Jury, picked up a diary of Samuel Pepys from one of your videos. Looking forward to it. You're going to love it. Just dip in and out as you please. Don't make a big historical thing out of it. Just dip in and out as you please. Make sure to let him talk to you as a person. Because somehow or other, through some miracle, that's how he wrote it. when no one in his time period was doing that. Read the diary, read even a few of the diary entries of John Evelyn, who was his direct contemporary and friend, who also kept a diary and also published it. And you'll see the difference in 2 seconds. The difference is so obvious. Uh, Colombian Thunder, I second deep focus lens. I think she has insightful understanding of film. Okay, very good. But anyway, I have to wrap this up. I'm sorry to do that. When there's 100 people here, that feels really weird to do. But I do have to go. Uh, I will try to come back. I doubt very much that I will be doing a Stevestream tomorrow. I'm kind of wondering uh, if I'm going to do any videos tomorrow. Tomorrow is, I think, when the first of the avalanche hits, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We will see. I will do what I can. I just wanted to prepare you all ahead of time because I'm such an integral part of your lives. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I have to go. I'm sorry, but I will be back in some form. I will be back. Thank you all. I'll see you soon.